resonated with intellectual discussions and vibrancy. As we embark on this exciting venture together, yet again, I encourage each and every one of you to embrace the spirit of openness, curiosity, and collaboration. Let us seize this opportunity to learn from one another, to challenge ourselves, and to emerge as catalysts for positive change in our respective fields of study and beyond. Let's get started on the third day of the workshop on intellectual property rights and its application in science and technology. Right away, full of energy, resolve, and a common goal of greatness. I also humbly request all of you to silence your phone and make sure to fill your feedback form before leaving the multipurpose hall.
Now, let us take a moment to honor the presence of our chief guest by bestowment of a sapling. I humbly request Dr. Asita Kulsheshwar ma'am to present a sapling to our esteemed guest, Dr. J.K. Srivastava sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Before our esteemed guest takes the stage to delve into the depths of today's topic, let me familiarize you all to the landscape we will all traverse together. In the realm of intellectual property rights, ethics serve as the bedrock upon which innovation and progress flourish. By adhering to ethical standards, researchers honor the sanctity of intellectual property, fostering an environment of trust and respect essential for sustainable innovation. Today's discourse from our respected guest will make us adept in the ethos and values for our future endeavors in the swath of science and technology. His words will acknowledge us to reform our ethical approach towards our discipline and enhance our workmanship skills.
Dr. J.K. Srivastava sir, currently serving as the Director of the Biotechnology Department at Amity Institute of Biotechnology, brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to this workshop. Holding a PhD and a postdoctorate from the United States of America, he has honed his expertise through extensive academic and research pursuits. He is dedicated to teaching animal biotechnology, aquaculture, and cancer chemoprevention, where he adaptly guides his students through the intricate terrain of these subjects. His research interest encompasses drug diagnostics, vaccine development, pathobiology, and cancer chemoprevention, reflecting his dedication to addressing critical health challenges. I am deeply honored to announce that Dr. J.K. Srivastava sir holds the prestigious distinction of being listed among the world's top 2% most cited scientists in the ranking of 2022-2023 by the Stanford University. This remarkable recognition underscores his significant impact and influence in the field of science and research. It is with great honor and enthusiasm that we extend a warm welcome to Dr. J.K. Srivastava sir. Please give a huge round of applause for him.
Thank you very much for the nice words of appreciation. I am within the family, so I don't require so many of formalities, but as the demand of the time and event, again I thanks everyone, all the faculty members, the director, ASS, and dear participants. So today's my lecture is, I think this is the third day, and you must be aware about the IPR and intellectual property. To me, it seems a very dry subject. So I need a lot of consultation from your side, because to handle a dry subject, you have to be very focused and concentrated. This is an important aspect, an important topic. If you are going to continue your journey in the field of science, then IPR is a very important topic. And let's enter into the ocean of the IPR and innovations. Hello.
It's working.
It's working? Okay. So, I feel better to stand here. This first slide, I would like to introduce about the Nobel Prize. Everybody knows, everybody wishes that one day they may be able to get a Nobel Prize, and try to perform in a manner so that he may reach closer to the Nobel Prize, though it seems to be difficult. But let's understand, Nobel Prize stands for the award which is constituted or instituted in the honor of Alfred Nobel, who was born in 21st October 1833 in Stockholm, Sweden, into a family of engineers. By academics, by expertise, he was a chemist, but professionally he was an engineer, and by nature he was an inventor. And let's know that having credit for his 355 innovations, Alfred Nobel has the credit to having 355 innovations in his name, and the bigger one is the invention of dynamite. And in the later stage, he thought that how the world will remember me when I was not here. So then he wrote his will that my 94% of the assets, total assets, will be utilized for awarding people in the name of Nobel. And what the Nobel Prize is 8.14 today in terms of rupees. You know that every year the Nobel Prize is given in the different areas. And this money is coming from the interest of his IPR, earned IPR value. So you can imagine the total asset of that particular scientist. The emphasis was only that you can understand that how the IPR is important, through which you can generate a lot of work in terms of money, in terms of repute and recognition. So let's start with the intellectual property right. Most of the things are in definition manner, so I have to read those definitions and then we discuss. The intellectual property rights are the rights given to a person over the creation of their mind. If you have created something by your thoughts and thinking, and that has some importance in terms of its utility, you can claim the intellectual property right. IPR usually gives the creator an exclusive right over the use of his or her creation for a certain period of time. So if you have invented something, you can claim for that right, and that was limited for a certain period of time, not for the lifetime, but for a certain period of time, and normally it is 20 years. And to regulate this, there is a defined law, that is intellectual property law. That is this next one. So purpose and benefits of IPR protection. Why IPR needs to be protected? And what is the purpose of generating IPR and its protection? So IPR is an asset, means if you have an intellectual property right or claim against certain invention, that is your asset. And having intellectual property, you are encouraged to indulge more and more in that area. So promotes innovation and creativity. Because you have tested something, so you want to indulge in that area more deeper and deeper. The required thorough literature review and prior art searches. If you want to innovate something, you have to enter in that area with the help of the existing information or existing knowledge, so that what people have already done, what are the points where I can hit, or I can change something to create a new thing. Similarly, if we are talking about the scientific thoughts or scientific matters, and if we look for the design and arts, similarly, if you are having a design of hundreds of designs before you for a particular subject or for a particular topic, so you may think on a different design for that. And if you have decided to give a different design for that, then you can claim for the IPR. IPR requires originality and novelty of the ideas. IPR is always should be novel, means that should not be done by others in past. Anything which you want to propose should have novelty, should have originality, not copied, but it should be original and having novel value. So such kind of innovation, such kind of development, such kind of design, such kind of architect can have a IPR value. Understanding patentability criteria and legal requirements. That is a later aspect, that if you have such things, then you must know what are the legality, where you want to go for this filing of this your IPR application. So, because you need a legal protection of your IPR. Ethical consideration in IPR research. And always there is a demand, there is a requirement that work which you have done should have been done in an ethical manner. following all ethical norms, you have created something, you have designed something, and where the ethical norms have not been flouted. So these are the requirements. We are, most of the time we are promoting or we are talking to have a collaborative research with other organizations. This is everywhere in the world, but here we have to understand certain things. For example, if we take a local issue, so we talk that we should have a collaborative project with CSAR labs, ICMR labs, ICR labs, DRDO labs, like that, or other private organizations. But if you are having a tie-up or if you are having a collaborative project, what is required as a primary need, that prior declaration of MOU is expected. Because at the later stage, entering into a legality, it is better to start with the MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, where everything has to be defined, that if some IPR is generated through this collaborative work, how we will share it. MOU must include clause for sharing rights. It must be clearly defined and explained in that MOU that if some IPR is generated, who will share or who will claim for what ratio, in what ratio. Means that can be equally divided, that can be 40-80, that could be 60-40. It all depends upon your and other parties' mutual understanding and discussion. Clause of sharing ratio, same thing. The clause for marketing strategies, and if that IPR leads to a product which could be marketed, which have a commercial value, at that stage, what should be the ratio and what is the modality for marketing, and clause of economic outcome, and finally, what is the economic outcome, how it could be shared. So we have to be very careful when we are having a collaborative research or we are proposing a collaborative research with some organization. We have to enter into first and foremost is the signing an MOU dealing with all these aspects. So in last 3 days, I think you might have gone through all these points. Types of patent, types of IPR, that is patent, copyrights, trademarks, and trade secret. So patents, copyright, trademark, and trade secrets, I will just go very quickly in a very brief manner because I think it has, the previous speakers have already explained about it. The patents grant innovators an exclusive right to their inventions for a limited period, typically 20 years from the filing date. If you have any patent and if you have claimed an IPR, and if that IPR is protected by the IP laws, then normally it has a life of 20 years. So within 20 years, if somebody wants to produce the similar product, he has to take approval or permission, or he has to sign an agreement with you by defining all the economic ratios. But if 20 years have passed, then the life of the IP value is exhausted. The patent protects new and useful inventions, processes, products, or design, preventing others from making using, selling, or distributing the patented invention without permission. So this IPR IPR includes the product, the process, means a particular steps which are required in designing or producing those subject or those things, that is known as process. Then design, if any design is there, like in terms of design you can understand it with some circuit, some mechanical design to devise a particular equipment or instrument, that preventing others from making and using, selling or distributing, means no one can use it without permission, no one can sell it without permission, or no one can distribute it without permission if that IP is protected by the timeline, means around 20 years. Here I would like to mention about the generic drugs. You might have heard the generic drugs, the drugs which are manufactured by the company, the owner companies. They have their own rights because they have their patent for that, and if that patent life is there, then that medicine cannot be produced by the other manufacturer or other pharma companies. But those patents which have lost their life, means they have completed 20 years, they are now being produced in the name of generic drugs. And because of that, these drugs are having very cheap value. In market, if you compare, there is around 80%, 90% cheaper than the branded drugs. Because the branded drugs, they claim the price for their IPR because they have invented it, they have developed it, and they have a right, an IP right for those products. But those products which have already exhausted their life, IP life, then they can be produced by anyone. So when the patents are on brand name drugs held by the innovators and manufacturer expires, those drugs are now simplistically public property, and other companies can manufacture version or copy of them, and these copies are generic form of their original name brand drugs. So nowadays, if you see in the market, there are some organizations which are selling the generic drugs, and I have inquired that there is a difference of around 80% to 85%, even sometimes 90% also, in terms of the branded drugs. Next, please. So, to understand more clear brand drugs and generic drugs, the branded drugs are protected by patent. The generic drugs have low-cost version of branded drugs, those drugs which have exceeded from their protected life. Then branded drugs supplies by a single company, because those who have saved their right for that particular product, they can only produce and supply that product. Then generic drug is produced by generic companies once patent expires on brand name drugs. Brand drugs are marketed under the brand name. However, the generic drugs are as safe and effective as brand drugs. The brand drugs are priced by pharmaceutical company and regulated by federal patented Medicine Price Review Board. So that price is certainly high because that is a third party fixing the price, whereas the price included by generic apart the generic drugs is the manufacturing cost and a rebate paid to pharmacies to stock their drugs. So there is a big difference in the branded drugs and generic drugs. After patent, we can discuss about the copyright. The copyright protects the original work of author as literary work, music, artistic creations and computer softwares. The copyright owner have an exclusive right to reproduce, distribute, perform, display and adopt their copyrighted work for a limited duration, typically the life of the author plus 70 years. So if you have a copyright for a particular book or particular creation, literary creation or artistic creation, that is protected, that copyright lies with you till your life after that 70 years plus. Many times, I think everybody uses it, Google Pictures to making some PowerPoint, I have also used here. PowerPoint slides are the presentations. So those figures which are available there, we simply copy, paste and prepare our slide, but that is ethically not correct. If that figure is copyrighted, if you see in the detail, if it is written there that this is a copyrighted design, so using it freely by a third party is not ethical. We have to take on written permission from that. If you want to do ethical work, then for every design which is copyrighted and if you want to reproduce, we need a permission from the owner of that copyrighted material. The copyright owner have an exclusive right to reproduce, distribute. Yes, he can, who has copyright authority, they can distribute it, they can sell it, they can display it for their own purpose. But if you are, as a third party, if you are using it for your purpose, you need to take a permission, otherwise it is considered as an unethical practice. And it is protected by Copyright Act 1957. Next please. That is the same thing that presented into the picture, and that is again a copyright violation. I have taken this picture from the Google itself. So it says that films, artistic work such as photography, dramatics, musical work, literary work, architectural work, if it is protected by the copyright, then certainly we have to take permission for that. Next please. Advantages of copyright: provide financial benefits to creator. At many points or many instances, if there are some copyrighted material or subject or design, and if you want to produce and you take permission, so not in the educational area but other segment, if such kind of permissions are sought, then they have to pay certain amount, and by that way the creator will have a financial benefit from its copyright. It protects your intellectual property. It has a like patent. It is also considered that copyright is also considered as an intellectual property. It encourages creativity. If you have some copyrighted material, copyrighted design, and if you are started earning with that, from that, then certainly you will be encouraged to go more and more creation which can be copyrighted. Like an authors write a book, that book is copyrighted, is published, is sold, certainly that will encourage to write another edition and another book and another topic. Like similarly, the writers who writes poetries or who can design paintings or who go for paintings. So you can copyright your paintings also if it is having novelty. Then next is the trademarks. Trademarks are distinctive sign. I think if you see the bottom of this slide, you will find a lot of trademarks, and very famous trademark is MDH Masale. Like YouTube, Coca-Cola, MasterCard, Yahoo, Amazon. So these are the trademarks. Only by seeing that picture, you will imagine all about that product. If you see that MDH sign, you will certainly imagine the spices, the range of spices which is being produced and sold by the MDH Masala. So trademarks are distinctive signs, symbols, or logos or phrases used to identify the distinguished goods or service from those of others in a marketplace. Trademarks provide exclusive right to the owner to use the marks in commerce and prevent others from using confusingly similar marks that may cause consumers confusion to dilute the distinctiveness of the mark. It happens many times. The similar logos are used by the fake companies to put that product into the market. Our similar tagline is also used by the such companies for putting their product in the market. But if you notice it, if the owner can notice it and if file a claim, a legal claim for that, so that is known as trademark violation, and that is a legal means crime to use the trademark of other company. So trademark infringement, some of the examples are here. Like Starbucks coffee. So there is a Starbucks coffee. Starbucks is a very famous brand, but the similar kind of logo is used by a fake producer. Adidas, Puma, Pudel, and these are the two products which are, I remember because those products are very common when I was in a younger age. Sunlight sabun, sunlight soap, though I think it is nowadays it is available or not, but it was very common before the cream introduced into the market. If you remember not the younger generation, but generation of the elders, if they remember, before entering the ring into the market, the Sunlight was the top brand in the market for washing machine. And Sunlight was sold by the name Gunlight, having all the impressions of Sunlight, all the design of Sunlight, only replacing as with G, the Gunlight. So Gunlight soap was also available in the local market, in the smaller rural market, and it was sold. Similarly, Colgate. Colgate can also be found as a Colgate. C is replaced with the G, and a Colgate can be seen into the market. So these are the infringement of your trademark. Next, please. Then trade secret, having IPR, trademark, copyright. These are the things which are documented or which are present in the form of a document. But trade secret is not an open document. Trade secret are valuable confidential information such as formulas, processes, methods, or consumer list. Trade secret we can understand with the special formula which is available in the market, but it is not disclosed. And special recipe, ingredients which is used by a particular brand, but this recipe ingredients are not disclosed. Like आप अपने घर में सब्जी कैसे बनाते हैं, सभी बनाते हैं पर टेस्ट अलग हो जाता है, और किसी के सब्जी का बहुत ही लोग अप्रिशिएट करते हैं, तो पूछते हैं कि भाई तो क्या इसमें डाला है, क्या मसाले हैं, तो सीक्रेट है, ट्रेड सीक्रेट है, वो कॉन्फिडेंशियल है, वो नहीं बता सकते. So there are many trade secrets which are in the market also, in the daily life you can also see. The trade secrets provide a competitive advantage to businesses. Unlike patents, trade secrets are not publicly disclosed and can potentially be protected indefinitely as long as they remain secret and confidential. Next, please. Like KFC. KFC is an international brand, and this man has started this business after the age of 65. And now you can see that KFC is how much popular. Similarly, if you talk about the Lucknow, Sharma ki chai, Vajpayee ka khasta, and Tunde kebab. So they have their own trade secrets. The ingredients which they use, that is not disclosed, and that's why they are having monopoly. They are having monopoly in the market. Next, please. Next is the industrial design. The industrial design protects the visual appearance or aesthetic aspect of the product, such as its shape, configuration, pattern, or ornamentation. The industrial design prevents unauthorized copying or imitation of the design by others, and encourage innovation in product design and aesthetics. I think it is very clear to understand आप बाइक की कौन सी मॉडल पसंद करते हैं, तो वो उसका एक इंडस्ट्रियल डिजाइन that takes a time, that has an IP value. If a special design is given for a particular vehicle by their creators, by their owners, and that design is protected by IP laws, so similar design cannot be produced by the other company, by the other product. If so happens